What up? What up? Kraven the Hunter just came out recently. I'm not gonna go watch it. I don't think so. Sony is no longer gonna make any movies. Most likely, they are saying for right now. So they're probably gonna 3 years or four their game plan after their massive failure of all their Marvel movies, or I mean Spider Universe movies, because I doubt they're gonna want to let go of their characters, and because I believe they have 5 years. If they don't create anything, they have to give up the rights to the movies, and I doubt they want to do that. But the question is, can the Sony universe be fixed? I've seen all the movies right now except Kraven the Hunter, obviously. I've seen Morbius. It was just bad. I honestly don't remember much about the movie. I just felt like the CGI was bad. His design looked bad. I didn't think he had a costume like in the comics, so it just felt bland and boring. Honestly, the looks were just felt dreadful. Honestly, the story was boring. The plot, character were just not there. The action was, I guess you could say some of the action was kind of decent. And Jared Leto as Morbius, I kind of at first when I first saw that, I didn't think of it like, oh yeah, that he was meant for that role. And then moving on into Madam Web, I saw Madam Web last night. Honestly, because I remember only seeing parts of it, and I didn't think much of it because the parts I seen were like on TikTok or Instagram, like little snippets, little dumb moments about it. And honestly, when I watched it, I honestly thought this is boring. This is way too long. It didn't feel like a Marvel movie. CGI was pretty ass. Like I didn't feel like it was like a Marvel movie or a superhero movie. I felt like it was more like a 50 Shades of Grey type movie. Nah, it was just boring, man. Like I didn't really connect with the characters. Like it just felt like they were forced. Like the whole plot of the Madam Web movie was just dumb. The dude was just having nightmares of like him getting murdered. Like, so you were having nightmares and you decided not to kill them when they were a lot younger. You decided to wait till they were teenagers. Like what? Like, oh, I just needed the technology. Like get your ass out of here with that bullshit logic. That was that. Like the movie was ended really bad with bad CGI at the end. Like the fight scene, the little I have no idea what that ending was, honestly. Like it was just bad. The only positives about the movie, maybe the costumes, but some of them were just straight ass cheeks. His costume was decent, but I don't know. I thought he's kind of lame. Where was his web shooting? Isn't he a spider? Oh, I forgot. He was like a venomous spider only. What was the other ones? The only one that I think was like only did really good and exceptional was Venom. But the only reason why they were all right is because he was already a really popular character. I remember him as a kid in the cartoon shows. Like he was super badass. So of course I'm gonna watch the movies, even though the movies were all right. The action was pretty decent, not too bad. The CGI was somewhat good, somewhat bad. Like for example, in the third one, like dude, they were just different like colors of the symbiote. Like the designs could have been better. Like I feel like they were too bright, if you know what I mean. Like the green one. I think there was a pink one as well. Like I just want them to have more like a web design, like a spider. I just feel like it was overhyped. That's pretty much my thoughts about that movie. And honestly, I seen the trailer for Kraven the Hunter, and then like they had to do a lot of changes to the movie. I already know too that there's not going to be any Spider-Man out of all the movies, these Sonyverse movies, and not including Madam Web. There was no Spider-Man. Like, come on, if you're gonna have the villain, at least either have a really good plot, and that can be excused. And the people are just tired of these type of movies, like where the characters just whack. They're like the downgraded version of like of a Power Ranger movie or show, or like the CW, the Flash, or the Arrow. So Sony's just scared to make these characters like a true villain, or like what they're supposed to be. Like I get some of them are supposed to be anti-hero, but that's like later on. Like Morbius is just a villain at first. So is Kraven the Hunter. They're villains. Like they're not. And so is Venom. He starts off as a villain, or that's what I think when I saw him as as a kid. They only have Spider-Man like characters. So I was like, who else is like a hero besides Spider-Man? I feel like the way to make them true to their characters is just have them be evil, like be murderers, like unforgivable. Like for example, the show Penguin, he's basically a manipulator. He tells you what you want to hear, and it's fucks you over. And then same like with the Joker. Like look at that. Like he's basically a villain. They didn't have to have that much action to be a good movie. It was still good, and he was a loved character. Another example could be like there's plenty of movies, but like the main character is a bad guy, like American Psycho, Nightcrawler, Scarface, and like shows we have Dexter, Death Note, Breaking Bad, and Better Call Saul. Like all good shows where the character is bad. They could have made some of these Marvel movies like with these villains hard or scary. But then some people say, "Oh no, it won't be profitable, or it's not going to be a good to see." And oh, nobody wants to see a horror or Marvel movie. Explain to me one of the legendaries, Wesley Snipes, Blade, my all-time favorite, Blade 2. That's one of the best movies out there for me. But again, as I said, they're regrouping, trying to sort out their game plan for the Spider Verse, and hopefully they're in considerate of like the fans' feedback and their massive failure with this basic shitstorm that they created. And here's what I think is gonna happen: they're gonna have a fresh start. For starters, they need to establish a damn Spider-Man to their damn universe. Like, pick a Spider-Man. You guys have like a whole Spider Verse. You guys made the into the Spider Verse. Like, pick one of those Spider-Mans random. Like, you can throw a random Earth on there, like, or Earth 99 175, like some random number, and then it can be a major success. Like, a lot of people had complaints that the reason these movies weren't good is because they didn't establish a spider. And if they're going to do a villain story, please make them a villain. Them bad. Like, I don't care if oh, I'm only bad because someone died, or because I'm bad because they took advantage of me in society. If it's an origin story, explain how they got to the top, or explain how like they backstabbed everybody and they became the big bad dog, like, something like that, or how they killed like so many people and they became hunter or predator, or how, something like in that violence. Or I want like this character to be. It doesn't actually have to be even an action adventure. It can even be like a straight up suspenseful drama of a deep depth of this character. And there's like shows like The Boys, Gen V, Suicide Squad, like Creature Commandos, like they're all like bad guys, and like it's still good though, like, because they develop a character and they expand on them and then give them a good lore, and you either root for the guy or you want them to lose. Look at Homelander, he's the biggest villain. Everybody loves him because how he's portrayed. Even though he's a terrible, sick person, have at least a Spider-Man fight one of them. Like, and then if you don't want him to lose because, oh, like, Spider-Man's not going to lose because you're going to get a reaction like that, have him barely get his powers and have him fighting, and then make it show like, oh, yeah, that seems reasonable. He lost because he barely got his powers. He doesn't know how to use them, or she doesn't know how to use them, blah, blah, blah. He's just a kid. You know, it'll make sense to the audience. Like, just think it through. And if you guys are going to think of like, oh, what anti-hero, like you can have Black Cat, Rocket Racer, Black Tarantula, Prowler, Cardiac, and Spider-Man intervening a little bit, or teaming up with one of these characters. They could have had a Venom and Spider-Man team up. And then if you just want a villain story, you have literally Hydro Man, Chameleon, Shocker, Mr. Negative, Slide, just so you don't have to name any like top characters, because they're using top characters like Kraven the Hunter, Venom, and who knows, like, if they were to continue, they would have probably made a Green Goblin and Doc Ock movie, like, and then make them anti-heroes, and it would have been so annoying. And then you could choose hundreds of thousands of Spider-Mans to be like the protagonist or antagonist of the movies. There's literally Spider-Woman, Spider-Girl, Miles Morales. You can do an older Spider-Man, Scarlet Spider, Lady Spider, a Spider Pig. I heard, and I think they were gonna still make the show for Black Noir with Nicolas Cage. Come on, motherfucking Nicolas Cage. That would have been so badass. And he's down for everything. I always see him like in almost anything nowadays. In the original Ghost Rider. But if they really want to continue, if they want to continue a game plan, right now it will make a lot more sense to make a Spider-Girl movie. If they want to redeem Madam Web, rework one of the girls' costume, like bring back one of the actresses back, like with a whole new backstory, an upgraded costume, like work on the webs, like make it look like a Spider-Man or Spider-Girl, an original. Focusing on plot, character, acting, a strong lead, helping the viewer invest in the movie. Sometimes some movies were just too long, slow pacing, and honestly, I was just almost falling asleep on Madam Web. Fans won't mind a suspenseful drama, honestly, like, or something that's like eye-catching, beautiful. Give villains a valid crash out, like, or go into depth of the character. The other three Spider Girls, like, their backstory was just like, who cares? Like, one is spoiled, literally. The other one just wants attention, and the other one you just like, I could see like where you're coming from, I guess, but we wanted more like where the viewer can connect to the character. And then Venom, at some points he was cool and badass, but and then you could in certain parts like he was over trying to be funny and he was being a little just goofy, and sometimes we forgave it and sometimes we were just like, oh man, come on. Like in the third one it was just dumb, like I just decided like, oh, we're in danger, I have to stay hidden. But you know what, let me do one last dance. And you know what sucks ass? The Spider-Verse movie, Into the Spider-Verse, or the third one installment, it's gonna come out around 2027 most likely. Like, what the fuck? But it seems like boys are just allergic to make money, honestly. But in 10 years, the Venom movies are most likely going to be classic. People are going to be like, oh my God, I grew up on these, and I love Kraven the Hunter. I grew up in this. Oh, Morbius. Oh, I grew up in this. And if Sony decides to give up the rights, hopefully Marvel listens and makes things right and understands the fans and what they want. But if they don't give up the rights, I just hope that they learn from their mistakes and just come up with the perfect Spider-Verse plan. Like, it's not so hard. They can literally have two Sony different Spider-Mans. It's not that hard. They could have brought Madam Web like as the main like multiversal like hero to help them. Like, oh, we need you, Spider-Man, like from all other Earths, and like we need to fight like this multiversal threat. It's like Null, or it's like a like the evil Peter Parker, like he's too strong, or it's a group of Peter Parkers with certain Marvel villains. Like, like it could have been done. I feel like it could be fixed, and at the same time, it might not be fixed. What are your thoughts? What do you think of the damn movies, like the Sony universe? Am I talking crazy? What are your likes or dislikes about the Sony universe? Did you guys see Kraven the Hunter or any of the Venom movies? I know you guys didn't like Madam Web, so I'm not even going to comment on that. And yes, Sony is going to reboot their Sony universe movies. Leave a like or a dislike, comment your thoughts. Let me know. And I hope you guys stayed throughout the whole video. If not, that's all good. Lates.